Thanks for joining me today. This session, I want to talk a little bit about um, sleep issues. So, individuals with fibromyalgia certainly do have sleep issues. That's on the top of the list as far as symptoms of someone with fibromyalgia. So, the thing about that also that makes it difficult because it does affect um, our ability to function, and it affects um, our moods and uh, our energy level, and just your overall well-being is compromised. And on top of that, if you have sleep apnea, and again, many individuals with fibromyalgia have sleep apnea, so it's just compounded. So I guess what I want to get into a little bit with this live stream is kind of understanding uh, the problem and maybe come up with some ideas for some solutions. And I'm really looking for your input. If you can put some input in the comments uh, that help you with your sleep issues, I would certainly appreciate it. So, uh, having problems with my train of thought a little bit. I deeply apologize. But so let me just kind of gather myself a little bit here. I'm so sorry. And again, that's one of the issues too. Is it can have a compounding effect on your on brain fog too. So where I wanted to get with this was sleep issues can also critically affect our moods and depression. That's really what I wanted to get at. Sorry, it took me a little while, but yeah, I've been uploading quite a few clips that have been talking about cognitive issues and, in particular, depression. So, lack of sleep certainly can cause an issue there. So, another thing that can cause a problem with sleep uh, can be our meds. So I take duloxetine, and it's notorious for um, causing sleep issues. There was at one point I was on a high dose. I call it a high dose of duloxetine. I can't remember exactly where I was at with it, but it what it does, it interrupts especially your REM sleep. So it just kind of robs you of that part of the sleep pattern that you really need for your body and your mind to recover. So, you, in my opinion, and what I've learned is you kind of have to watch your dosage to make sure that your medicine is not causing interference with your sleep pattern. All this stuff is difficult, isn't it? Because uh, you know, for one thing, it's kind of like grabbing at straws to find out what works and what doesn't. And unfortunately, you kind of have to keep doing that and keep moving, hopefully, in a direction where you at least get a little bit of um, relief from what you're going through. So, watching medicines, I think, is really important. Reducing stress. So, as we get into some things that may help to get better sleep, reducing stress, limiting exposure to uh, our phones and TV and video games and stuff like that, or if you play games on a tablet, things that cause your mind um, to kind of not slow down or not be prepared to go into a restful state. Um, so there are some uh, studies that show, I believe, that like some herbal teas may help. You want to stay away from uh, teas that have caffeine in it, which I believe black teas. So an herbal tea might be beneficial. I like chamomile as a nice herbal tea. I don't do that as often because one of my problems, the tea makes me have to pee. So I don't know if you've had that issue or not. But one thing also that I did that I believe has helped with my sleep is to go uh, decaffeinated, and, also not having decaffeinated coffee at night, because even although it's decaffeinated, there is still a slight amount of caffeine in there. So a bad habit that I have, and it's hard to break, is I like to have an evening snack, and I'm kind of addicted to like apples and peanut butter. It's kind of a feel good food, and it's not all that unhealthy, but um, it's just another thing I think that we can work on, is to be careful about the eating habits and the midnight snacks and all that stuff. But it's difficult because sometimes our our brains are just kind of conditioned to want to get in to the fridge and get that ice cream out, or whatever it is that is going to taste good, and uh, it's just hard to maybe break certain habits. And I have a video on habits, and so the thing about that's key is forming good habits. So um, I'll let you know how that goes, but hopefully I'm working at becoming better with that. So let's see. If you're just joining me, please leave something in the comments. We're talking about sleep, and how to improve our sleep, and especially if you have fibromyalgia, it's a huge issue. So again, your ideas are certainly appreciated. Remember, we're in this together, and this isn't just uh, a a live stream or things that I put out here just for me to preach to you guys, because I don't have all the answers, and I need your help, and we need each other's love and encouragement as we go through this stuff. So um, trying to think of some other things that might help with sleep. um, I'd say maybe being comfortable. Just make sure that, um, for me, not being overheated. I don't like that. If I have too many blankets on, I kind of have to keep my blankets and my comforter a little more on the thin side, so that I don't get overheated. That's an issue. And if you have fibromyalgia, you very well know that it hits you in the extremes. You could be dealing with cold, and we've had a lot of that lately. And over the last couple of days has been horrible. Yesterday, I was in bed pretty much all day. I I like to try to come and pick my wife up after work, but I had to have somebody else do that because it just had such a negative effect on me. So the cold and then the heat is the other extreme. So uh, sometimes I wonder if there's maybe just the right place sometimes that you could live, where the temperatures maybe within the, you know, high 60s, low, even yeah, well, low 80s would be perfect. But there are some places like that. But to live in Hawaii or somewhere like that, I'm not really sure how feasible that is. My wife and I have talked about becoming snowbirds and traveling to Florida for the winter, and we would love to do that. But certainly there's an expense. that's involved there. So I kind of drifted away from my um, original intent of talking about sleep disorder with fibromyalgia. So if you just joined me, that's what we're talking about in this live stream. So if you think of any ideas that help us to improve our sleep patterns, please put something in the comments. We've already talked about how medicine can affect negatively sleep, and how stress can do that, and how maybe, if we're spending time in the evening, too much time on a tablet or on a TV or something like that can cause issues. So again, it's not something that I've got figured out completely. I think I do better than I used to, but when I talked about me being on a higher dose of duloxetine, and when I was on that, it was terrible. I want to say maybe I would get 2 hours sleep at a clip. So be careful with your meds, and make sure that you let your doctor know. Um, and if you're having sleep issues, I don't think it hurts uh, to get a specialist involved there. I've been through the sleep studies, and that's how they found out that I had sleep apnea, and that is not something to mess around with. It can actually be dangerous. Um, and when I really can't remember the number, but when I did my sleep study, they said as far as the times that I had the apneas or the events was one of the highest that they had seen. So uh, I I religiously use my CPAP machine. So if you're having sleep issues, especially if you wake up moaning or um, gasping for breath, please make sure you follow up, or maybe talk to your primary care doctor if you need to get a referral to a sleep specialist. That's super important. So I'm going to leave this right here. I have a hard time thinking sometimes exactly what I want to come up with, but I guess I'm asking for your help on this one. Uh, Leave some ideas in there that can help us with improving our sleep. I love you guys. This is Fibro Man signing out. Have a great day.